Hey everybody, and welcome to Ticket Stubs and Popcorn, the show where we take one actor and we talk about our favorite three roles of theirs. I'm Frank.
I'm Peter.
And today we're going to be talking about Jeff Daniels.
Jeff
Daniels, yeah.
Before we get into Jeff Daniels.
Oh yeah, people should like
please.
and subscribe and follow us on Instagram and in the Facebook page. So you'll start seeing lots of good stuff there.
Okay, Frank, I got a question for you.
I knew you would.
Yes.
All right.
I'm trying.
What do you got?
Okay, I've heard, from people in the past that they have movie or theater going rituals. Things
I do kill a goat whenever I go to a movie. So
I've seen that too.
So when I find someone who's really good at what they do, they're the greatest of all.
You said it.
So that's my movie going ritual. Yeah.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's poignant
so
too.
I think I should probably let you ask your question.
If you bring the kids with you, that's even better.
Even
right?
better.
Yeah. If you can kill a goat in front of the kids.
Right. Yeah. They need to learn.
They do. Strict movie-going rituals must be adhered to.
Exactly.
It's been passed down for generations
Right.
and generations.
Exactly.
Do you have, think about this, and we'll talk at the end, do you have a movie-going ritual?
Things that I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
We'll talk about
because
that.
I go to a lot of movies. So yeah. All right. Cool.
I know things have changed right now.
Well,
but
yeah.
in general. Okay,
So,
good.
Yeah. Because right now my movie going ritual is like, okay, sit in front of a screen, whether it be my iPad or a computer or a TV or something like that.
And if you're lucky, some popcorn.
That's the ritual.
If you're lucky.
So, all right, that's cool.
Okay.
So,
Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels. All right, Jeff Daniels is a weird pick. When that ticket came, when we pulled the ticket out of the thing, I was just like, Jeff Daniels, what am I going to do with Jeff Daniels? And it's one of those guys that you kind of remember has kind of been around like a lot. And you're just like, oh yeah, I guess I do kind of dig that movie. And then I actually, just in sort of prepping for this, I actually came across one or two that I hadn't seen. Then I was just like, oh, let me check this out. So, and one of those was this movie from 1987 with Kelly McGillis and Jeff Daniels, called The House on Carroll Street.
Okay.
And Mandy Patinkin is in it as well, which is interesting because he did two movies that year. He did The House on Carroll Street, which no one has ever heard of, except maybe the people who were involved in that movie.
I have heard of it.
Then
I don't think I've seen it.
And then the other one was this little thing called The Princess Bride.
You got it, Princess Bride.
But when you look at the House on Carroll Street, so Jeff Daniels plays this FBI agent, and Kelly McGillis plays this. Takes place like after World War II.
Okay.
And like the Red Scare is going on, and McCarthyism and all that kind of stuff. So she's someone who is. The movie starts off with her like in front of some Senate subcommittee or something like that about the group you work with or the little side hustle you've got going there. We want lists of members and blah blah blah. She's like, no, she loses her job at Life magazine. Anyway, Jeff Daniels is one of the FBI agents kind of investigating her, and she gets this other job reading to this old woman, but she sees kind of across this courtyard thing. It's kind of like a rear window thing. There's this government guy, Mandy Patinkin, that she saw at these hearings, and he's talking to these Germans about, basically, not to spoil the movie because no one's going to see this, basically Mandy Patinkin is involved in bringing former war criminals from Germany and having them come to America, and they have value as scientists and stuff like that, but it's not very politically astute to help German war criminals come into the country. So they're doing that, and there's a dude that McGillis meets, and he gets killed, and so she's trying to unravel this whole thing, and Jeff Daniels is trying to help her unravel the whole thing, and they end up having a little tryst.
Okay.
And so, but to see him as, the sort of, I don't know, that gumshoe kind of guy, that tough guy, that FBI guy is just like, really? I didn't buy it at all.
Okay.
It's an interesting performance, and I pick it because it's sort of very different than what I would expect him to be in. So, and he's not bad in it. The movie's not great. It's very slow. I watched this movie and like a lot of stuff seems to happen in slow motion, and I hit pause for a second. I'm like, oh my God.
It's moving just as fast right now.
It's only been 24 minutes? Oh my God. What wormhole of time did I just go through? It's so bizarre.
Aren't the 50s over yet?
So yeah, so that's one of his roles. Again, I
would say The House on Carroll Street.
Yeah, I pick it more because of its sort of novelty
for him
and what I would consider to be a Jeff Daniels oeuvre.
Okay.
So there's that. My next Jeff Daniels is going to be Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Because it is just, I like him in that better than I like Jim Carrey.
I agree. I agree on that one.
I think that his character, one, shows a little bit more heart. I think that he's funnier in that you don't expect him to be that funny, goofy, physical comedy thing. Whereas Jim Carrey, I mean, that's his bread and butter.
Exactly.
That's what he does.
Exactly.
So, and he's fine if you like that sort of thing, but I find Jim Carrey, when he's like that, to be a little too much.
It is too much for me, too.
He's that dude at a party.
He's okay in little doses.
Yeah.
He's
that guy you go to a party with, and he's like all off the walls in the first 5 minutes, and you want to be just like, dude.
You're like, if he's in that corner, I'm in this corner. Yeah, you got it.
Be cool, there are girls here, you know? But you just... But Jeff Daniels in that is just so lovably stupid, and I think that makes that funnier. And I don't know what, like, as an actor, like, he comes out of his trailer, and what's his process for that? How does he, as an actor, kind of decide not to just mimic the crazy, frantic what Jim Carrey does, but be as funny as Jim Carrey is?
You know, the interesting thing about that is, just imagine going into the talks for this, and there's a chance that you're going to get hired for this movie. And let's just say, because I'm going to have to assume that Jim Carrey would have been the first one to be hired for this movie. Because it's a Jim Carrey style movie.
Yeah, most definitely.
So can you imagine, though, being Jeff Daniels and you've got a chance at this role and all you're thinking of is, okay, I can have fun, I can do this, I'm pretty confident in my acting ability, but also knowing, but I'm going with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be not against him, but I'm going to be with him all the time, and it's going to be a comparison all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that one must have been interesting. Like, what's going through his head? Like,
I have to keep up with Jim Carrey. That had to have been tough. So, and he's typically, Jeff Daniels is a more serious actor.
Sure.
Excuse me. So, getting to that serious part, Squid and the Whale. I think it is the best Jeff Daniels role ever for him. I really think that's, you know, when they do his, you know, in memoriam, it'll be that. Yeah. He manages, this character that he plays is a terrible person, and he is his own worst enemy. He, you know, there's a difference.
Terrible. He's flawed.
Well, he is. It's one of those things. There's a difference between being the smartest person in the room, and he may be the smartest person in the room, but Bernard is an asshole.
He's the biggest dick in the room.
Yeah, he's the first one to walk in and go, by the way, I'm the smartest person. And the way he is raising his sons, he's just like, oh, that's not he's not a serious person, or this person, or you know, that Fitzgerald work is a, you know, it's minor.
It's a minor piece.
It's a minor piece. And his arrogance is it. arrogance is, your self-confidence that's just boiled over and made a mess of everything.
Yeah, and the worst thing in that movie too is that throughout his life, but particularly at this one point in his life, the older son, the Jesse Eisenberg character, is so influenced and impressioned by his father. And that's a scary thing.
And that's what's terrible, because Bernard he's had a couple of books published, he's teaching, so he's got talent. And unfortunately, his ego and his self-esteem is so fragile that where he could be doing good and be a good teacher, you have a couple of novels, but you know what, you might actually just be a good teacher. His influence on his wife, they don't go too much into what kind of influence he had on her writing, but he's a teacher. He's a natural teacher. You can see that he's very comfortable kind of letting folks know what he thinks and sort of looking at things deeper. But unfortunately, a lot of that gets fueled by his own his feelings of inadequacy. Yeah. And Jeff Daniels, this guy is so tightly wound.
There's a lot of emotion
with how
in that
disappointed he is and where his life, where it is at that point, because he's still relatively young. What's he, in his 40s?
Probably,
so he's still, he's halfway, So it's just a real shame to see a character so flawed falling apart like that and letting the important parts of his life fall apart, and he can't see it. And Jeff Daniels just plays it so perfectly. He just body language and just the way he delivers a line. It's just so.
He breathes even.
Yeah,
he breathes and he sighs when he speaks.
And just everything from big things like not getting another agent to little things like losing a parking space. And it makes, he feels so crappy about himself that just having to find another parking space, he makes his son feel bad about having to go pick him up.
Yes, and lose the parking.
Sorry, because a parking space.
Yeah.
So it's a great role. It's a great portrait. I really I had to revisit it again recently, just prepping, and it really reminded me what a great performance that is. So wonderful.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, but my three, I could not agree with you more. He was born to play Bernard.
Yeah.
In The Squid and the Whale. That is one of my favorite all-time movies and one of my favorite all-time performances. He's just amazing in that one.
Yeah.
He's so hypercritical about everything. He's opinionated. I mean, he has an opinion on everything.
Everything.
It's amazing.
When they're talking about the oldest son's girlfriend. Yeah, she's very nice, if you like that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like a little support here. Any advice besides that?
Just don't add that last part, Dad.
But she's
very nice. That's all you need.
He's so competitive. He's so petty.
It's just
if you don't have the same likes as he does, the same tastes, Ivan, the tennis coach, he's a Philistine. He doesn't read. He doesn't go to movies.
Well, I like that his son was just like, all right, then I'm a Philistine too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the second one.
I just want to play tennis. The youngest son.
Yeah, the younger one. Who's much more under the mother's sphere of influence. The older one is definitely under his.
That kid was great too.
They're all four of them are incredible, and the four of them at times are not very nice people. They all have their own
but
things.
it's real. That's
real.
Exactly.
It's definitely real.
Not everybody's a nice person.
No.
You think I'm this nice? I'm a jerk.
He's actually worse in real life than he is on the camera.
Terrible.
But this Bernard, he's just there's like little things you can see when he plays tennis with the family, when he plays ping pong with the boy.
Right?
You're just like, this speaks volumes, but it's all because Jeff Daniels is able to draw upon all these things and bring it out. Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah, really, really good.
It really is. And for whatever reason, we know that his career is a little stalled. He had a good start. He had a couple books published. They had some favorable, and it's just been stalled. And then, of course, there's this underlying thing where, like I said, he's petty, he's competitive. So he's jealous because the wife, who's in the process of separating from, the wife is having some success, this sort of thing, and he's a very intelligent man, but at the same time, he's a little confused about, or not realistic, maybe not confused. He's not realistic about what his possible getting back together with his wife could be. How he's like, have I missed signs? Have I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you said this one, did that mean, and this is like long after the fact and it's too late now. Yeah. It's like, well, you called my dad, so that must mean that you still like me, or it's really, it's just
dude.
like, oh,
dude,
yeah.
Just,
and the whole thing with, the anger stuff when he's very competitive with the parking spots and the fact that, I think this book belonged to me. We got to go get that book back so I can take it from her apartment and put it in mine. And, he has to take the cat. Well, he doesn't want the cat. That sort of thing. And can we switch days? And which are all things that happen, obviously, and normal things that would come up. It's just the way he deals with them, the way his opinions on it.
Yeah.
So that one there, if you haven't seen that movie, go see that movie. I really love that movie. And like I said, when you see the movie, you almost get the feeling he's born to play this role.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah,
and sometimes it definitely happens, and it's the hallmark of a good actor. Is when you see a movie and you get frustrated by the character. You're like, why can't he and then all of a sudden you're like, well, he's just an actor. That's not in real life. This is a movie I'm watching. And you're like, oh yeah, I forgot. He's just so good. He elicits this stuff out of you, the viewer. Right. And that's true. It's the body language. He breathes, moves, sighs. I love him in that movie. So that one's definitely one of my picks. A second one, and this one to me is another movie another role I should say, that I swear he was born to play, and it's completely opposite. And that's Gettysburg.
Oh yeah.
He's phenomenal in this movie. And his character is, well, I think he starts off as a colonel before he becomes a general, but he's Joshua Chamberlain for the main second, and he's in Gettysburg in a battle. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's very long. It's over 4 hours long, I think, but it's very well done. And I don't think any movie, and this is saying a lot, I don't think any movie in the history of cinema has been researched as much as that movie was.
Who directed that?
They got it down. Who is the director of that one?
I don't know.
But Ted Turner was the one who was. He financed that one, and he wanted it to be done right, so he just opened up his pocketbook and just, you know what I mean, and he just kept
Here's
pouring
a blank
money.
check. Go make this movie.
Yeah, and
this is driving me nuts.
He kept pouring money into that one to make it just right. So then they went to like the national Park Service and all that stuff, because they actually
Right.
filmed on location. They were able, which makes no sense that they were allowed to do it, but they went all in, and they had all this historic research done, and everything that's done on location. It's amazing. But anyway, the movie's phenomenal, and it does not seem that it's that long. It's long,
Yeah.
but it does not seem like it's that long. It never bogs down. It moves along at a good clip, and his character in the movie is Joshua Chamberlain. He's a professor at a college in Maine. I'm not going to mention its name
Okay.
because I don't like it. No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding. No, he's a professor from Bowdoin College, and he takes I don't know how many years. He takes a sabbatical, but I think he like fibs. He kind of pretends that he's going to be going, because he teaches languages as well as like rhetoric and other stuff. So I think he leads them to believe that he's going to be going to Europe to study more languages, and instead he actually joins the army. And so he's very good at what he does. He's determined, but it's this quiet confidence. But it's just this man trying to do the right thing, and he's just good at it. He cares for his men. He's got this concern, and he's very practical. He's pragmatic. He knows what needs to be done. He's just not necessarily a military man, like a career person. But he's very good, and he knows. And so he's in a really bad situation. The main second is in a bad situation at Gettysburg, where if the Confederate Army can take the hill, it's over. That battle's over, and if they lose Gettysburg, which is up in Pennsylvania, so now we're talking about we're moving further north. It's not going to be good, because then it'll just be that much easier to get around and to what anyway. So this is a pivotal, it's a pivotal battle, but this one particular thing at where he is, they're coming up, the Confederate Army's coming up. His guys are exhausted. They've been fighting now for a long time. They're low on ammunition. Their ranks are decimated, and they have to make this stand. And they're like the end of the line. So if the Confederate Army cannot just come up the hill but get around them, it's over.
Yeah.
So they've got to make this stand, and he's got to make decisions, because he's just told, you have to hold that line. Okay, so then he's got to go tell his men, this is what it is. We've got to hold this line. We can't do anything but hold the line. We have to, that's it. If it's over, it's over. And he's just amazing in this movie. He's like, there's this certain confidence, soft-spoken. It's a lot of heart, and he's never over the top. He's never excitable, but he still knows what he's got to do, and he gets the point across, and he still impresses the men and stuff. And there's this one scene. His brother is in the regiment. He's like his captain, and there's a couple times where he has to like tell him, his name is Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain, but his brother calls him Lawrence all the time. That's just what he grew up with. So once in a while he'll be talking to him, and he's got to like tell him in the nicest terms. He's his younger brother, but he still doesn't want to. He's still a nice man. So he tells him a couple times, like, don't call me Lawrence in front of the men. Oh yeah, sorry about that one. It's not good. So he's got to tell him that. He's got to tell him. And then there's another scene where they're getting ready for the last rush that they're gonna have, or impending. And he tells his brother, he goes, I'm moving you to the other side so we can be as far apart as possible. And he goes, I don't want Mother to lose both of us today. But he's just so matter of fact about it. And it's like, oh my goodness. He like really thinks that could be a possibility. You know what I mean?
So another super confident character, but who manifests
on the
that
good,
confidence.
yes, and he's a
differently.
positive
That's
influence, and he's a positive influence on his men.
Yeah, see, and that's that he's able to carry that off is is
Oh, it's
really
tremendous.
cool, yeah.
And so that would be my second pick, and I really and I'll be the first to say it's a long movie. If you're not into that sort of thing, don't. But if you think you might be interested, it is worth watching Gettysburg. There's a lot of good portrayals. Tom Berenger is very good in that movie, too. But he's that Jeff Daniels is just tremendous. As a matter of fact, I always enjoy when the Oscar season comes out. I try not to get too excited about, why didn't so-and-so get picked or not win, but get nominated. Because, there's a little wider field. You figure, there's 5 spots, whatever. That one was one of those that I was really shocked that he did not get nominated. I was just and the same with Squid and the Whale. I don't think he got nominated for that one. And that was one of those where how didn't he get nominated? Yeah. These are like roles of a lifetime, and really does a great job with both of those. So my third one would be Purple Rose of Cairo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he actually, he's playing 2 roles.
Yeah.
It's the same, well, it's not the same person. He's got 2 roles in this movie, and we learn about him, we see him first, and this is how we get to know about him, is that he's in a 1930s movie. So the movie takes place in the 30s, and we get introduced to him because the Mia Farrow character is escaping her humdrum, pretty bad home life. So she goes to the movies frequently. And so she'll go almost every night just to get away from her husband. So because of that, she'll be watching, say, the same movie 6 times in a week.
That's how I was with American Ninja back in the 80s.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Glad to hear
it was $1 to go to the theater. And so I was a kid. I was a teenager and the Ninja movie was $1. So I saw that movie in the theater more times than I would like to admit.
So she goes and she starts watching this movie, and the movie's called The Purple Rose of Cairo. And there's a character in the movie, and that character is played in black and white by Jeff Daniels, and I'm trying to remember what his name is, like Biff Baxter. No, not Biff Baxter. Gil. So anyway, so he's the actor on the screen. So he starts to notice that this good-looking woman keeps coming every night to see the movie.
It's a little surreal.
Yes. So he wants to meet this woman. He wants to talk to her. So he's able to leave the screen. And so his character leaves the screen and gets to know her. So his character is written as such that he's this intrepid explorer, and he's excited about things, and he's Johnny on the spot, because that's what his character is in the thing. So that's how he is. But because he's a character in a movie, he's got limited life experience because he only knows whatever he's been doing in the movie. So like there's a scene where I don't think he can start a car because he's never had to start the car because people on the set will start the car for him. But he can drive a car because his character will be driving a car. So there's like certain things that kind of written in, and it's great. So, but what happens is, and this is what leads to the second role that he does in the movie, is since his character in the movie steps off the screen, the rest of the characters are stuck in their scene on the screen. So they're like, get him back here. We need him to get back. We can't move on. And so, this whole surrealistic thing is going on. But he's out and about walking the streets, in the city. So the real actor who is portraying the guy on the screen is now all worried because the studio says, you got to get him back on. He goes, I don't know this guy. You wrote him.
Yeah.
And he says, but he walked off the set. You've got to talk to him. And now he's worried that it's going to ruin his career, any future employment. So he plays two characters, and it's great. He's just wonderful.
Yeah, he does. I haven't seen that movie in a million years. But
and so it's
yeah,
just
he
a
does
wonderful,
a fun like kind of dual.
it's a
dual
great
thing.
Jeff Daniels performance.
Yeah, no, that's a,
and
that's a
so if
good
you haven't
choice.
seen that one, go see that one too.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
There's a particularly just a mean, jerky Danny Aiello in that one. His character's pretty. I mean, that's the husband of the mean character. Not a nice guy, but
sort of a spin-off from the dad in that Madonna video.
Papa Don't Preach.
All right, that was good.
In fact, I think that I know he's getting older now, but I think that Jeff Daniels for a long time was one of the most underappreciated actors. He'd been around. He'd been in a lot of things like Terms of Endearment. He's on TV with
solid. He's in Speed and just
Speed.
I think he's one of those like
Martian. He's in that TV. Well, he was in that Newsroom, or whatever that series.
Great in that.
He's great in everything he does. It just depends like how big his role, what the role is.
Yeah.
But I think he was underappreciated.
He's an actor, not a movie star.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let me recap while they're still present of mine. Purple Rose of Cairo.
Yeah.
And Squid and the Whale.
Yeah.
And Gettysburg.
You got it.
All right.
And yours were, we overlapped. We both picked Squid and the Whale.
Yeah.
You liked his performance, Dumb and Dumber, and then The House on Carroll Street.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to watch that one.
No.
No, don't.
Not.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay.
You know what? Watch Princess Bride instead.
You just go, this is a nice movie.
Seriously, I would really
Yeah.
love to know, like, what was going on with Mandy Patinkin, because literally they're both. You look at IMDb. It's like 1987, Princess Bride. 1987, The House on Carroll Street.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly. Well, I have no idea when they filmed them. But I think they came out pretty close together. That's the same thing with Jeff Daniels in Dumb and Dumber and Gettysburg. I think are very close together. Right? And you're like, boy, these are completely different roles.
So, let's have you guys like and subscribe, and let's go to that question.
The question, yeah.
The question, movie going rituals.
You know, I have a movie going ritual.
I do.
I thought you might.
It's going to be really interesting because I haven't been to a movie theater.
I know the actual theater experience.
Almost a year. Yeah. So, and now that I'm here in California, it's going to be different. I'm going to have to find a whole new theater that I go to. I'm going to have to find a new routine.
Exactly.
But my routine was I would go to this theater in Woburn, Massachusetts, and they're fine. They were fine. It's difficult because I've worked in movie theaters, so I
used to work in a movie theater.
Yeah, so I know everything that's going on, and so sometimes I get a little annoyed. It's just like he doesn't need to be doing that. He should come over here.
That's right. If they put two people on this station, we could.
That's not a priority right now. So there's that. So I have to sort of stifle that part of me and just go in as a regular
patron there,
civilian. So, but I do. I often would I'll get popcorn.
Yeah.
I typically would get some sort of a lot of times there's peanut M&Ms.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually Junior Mints occasionally. When I'm feeling feisty. But
you're so refreshing.
But yeah, exactly. Junior Mint, and I would depend if I would get a one of those little personal pizzas.
Oh, okay.
So And the ritual part of it. So I would always.
You have a shoe shine and a car wash.
No.
Apparently, you're paying for everything.
Exactly. So yeah, it's So then I go and what I love that you're able to order your tickets and pick your seat and stuff like that. So you don't have to rush. So I get a nice comfy seat in the middle. I've got to be in the middle. I've got to be the right amount.
Sure.
From the
I can just see you out there with the tape measure. Okay, this is good. This will work.
Not a tape knot, but
no, I get you.
Come on.
I know. I understand how you want that
because
in the middle.
Because and this is the weird quirky part of it is that because I'll typically get a drink too, usually a bottle of water. So but because I don't want the pizza to get too cold because the pizza's nice and hot.
Right.
So, but I'm also going to have to endure like 10 minutes of previews. I'll usually eat the pizza during the previews, but I won't eat the pizza. This is so dumb. So saying it out loud.
Yeah, saying it out loud. You have to come to terms with these inner demons.
But I'll wait until the previews start before I start eating the pizza. So instead of like just watching the little like dumb commercials that are on there and eat the pizza, I'll wait until the previews start. Then I'll sort of dig into the pizza. By the time the previews are over, the pizza's typically all set, and then I can enjoy the movie with just the popcorn and the candy or whatever. But I don't want to wait through the previews, like the maybe 5 minutes before the previews and the previews, because then if I'm waiting until the movie to eat, I'm not crazy. Because if I wait until the actual movie to eat the pizza gets cold.
No,
or not
no,
cold, but cool. And it's not as hot. It gets like sort of not as hot. And I don't like that.
That's not cool.
So in terms of God, I'm a crazy person. This is why I'm alone.
No. I'll be honest. The reason that I asked the question was because I know that your answer was a lot more exciting and interesting than my answer. No, it's the truth. It's the truth.
That's as much of a movie theaters for going to a movie.
Yes.
Just going to a movie is
it's a ritual experience.
For me, it's also kind of like a little bit of a reset. Not only do I just love movies in general, and I get a lot of it's just like, well, why would you pay for a movie? You can watch that movie at home. Like now with pandemic and everything going on, and Wonder Woman came out. If there was no pandemic going on, they wouldn't have streamed Wonder Woman. But given the choice, I would have gone to the movie theater to see that instead of watching it streaming. Because not only is it a better visual experience, but it's also just to sort of sit in the dark, the bucket of popcorn, it just sort of chills me out. And it's, just sort of, life gets a little bit crazy and
No. I get that.
It's
I
very therapeutic.
Yeah. I'll tell you my routine is that
go and watch the movie, leave.
There is no routine. I am so cheap that I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not going to spend money on anything. If I'm with my wife, and she wants something, we've got the kids, that's different. That doesn't matter. I say I'm cheap. I'm more cheap with me, if that makes any sense. I just don't want to, no. So I'm not, if I can get away with not spending money, that's the way it is. No, I just go and I'll watch the movie. And I like the whole thing, which is why when I'm home and I'm watching a movie, I like to have most of the lights out. I won't have any devices around. My phone will be away. I don't want, in matter of fact, I don't want anybody else to either, but I mean, it's their whole life. But so I just don't want any interrupt, and I just want to watch the movie. So I watch at home the same way I do at the theater. It's just, it's just the way it is. And I just, like to concentrate on the movie and the same thing. You like want the right seat, and with the different, sometimes like an individual theater setting might be a little different. Like, oh, this wall comes in this one particular theater, you know what I mean? And so that sometimes affects where you pick. But I was thinking when you're talking about some of your pre-game rituals there, it reminds me that
it's as much of a self-care type of thing.
No,
For
yeah.
me,
No, I
as
get
it is
it.
an
I'm just kidding
entertainment
with you.
thing.
Yeah, I agree. But there's a scene you reminded me. There's a scene, or maybe 2 times, maybe more. I don't even know now. In the movie Whiplash, I don't know, 45 years by now. I'm not sure. Enough time has gone, but goes by so fast. But there's the Miles Teller, the main character, the boy in the movie, the college student. He and his dad, Paul Reiser, go see movies frequently, or have in the past, and they refer to it. But their ritual, or at least the father's thing, is that you buy the big tub of popcorn, and you buy a box of Raisinets, and you mix it in there, and you shake it.
See, I couldn't.
And you just
never,
like that's what his is, and it's kind of, because when you start telling what it is, it's like they have their, so like you actually see, oh yeah, there's people in movies have their own movie rituals
well,
too.
I know, like I know people who do that. They'll like throw some candy in the popcorn, which is complete. That just
Anathema.
No. I'm not religious zealot about it, but I just it doesn't work for me. I'm not a big
Well, I think is the Paul
kind of guy.
I think is the Paul Reiser character would say, you just eat around the Raisinets.
Yeah, it's but I got to tell you, like the theater that I used to go to back in Massachusetts would I would go in there, so like I'd go to the movies like 3 times a week, and so it got to a point where you sort of start to know some of the staff, and there was this one kid who knew that he drove me crazy. Like I could not stand this kid. He's just such a oh god. So if I would have fired him. I had this one, again, knowing movie theaters the way I do. It's just like, you know what? I'm going to apply for a job here.
Just so I can.
Just so I can fire him.
Yeah, exactly.
So
make your life hell.
Exactly.
And then fire him.
Oh, but to the point where I'll go up and I'll see him.
All right, Bernard. You're starting to sound like
Bernard. No.
Jeff
But I'll
Daniels
just
there.
I've seen him, and there was one time where he goes to another kid. He goes, "Why don't you wait on him? He doesn't like me very much." Right? So the kid just like,
it's good to know that somebody
it's funny because the kid he's talking to just kind of looks at him,
like,
and he looks
how am
at
I
me.
supposed to respond now? You're standing right there.
Well, he looks right at me, and I'm like, oh no, he's right. Drives me nuts. So I'm gonna have.
I want that guy's head on a platter, and I want some Raisinets.
It just drove me nuts. Anyway, so let's do the bucket. Having flashbacks. I need to go to a movie,
but not see that guy.
Stupid. No, I'm as far away from that little bastard as I could be right now. All right. All right. This it says that kid at the movies.
I don't know the kid at the movies. That's the problem. How am I supposed to work? Okay. All righty. I'm going to have to do some homework on this.
That's okay. That's part of the fun.
No, it is. It definitely
is. That's just part of the fun of this job is watching movies.
It's the prep work. It's the prep work.
Yeah, exactly. So, folks, hey, thanks again for watching the show. Please remember to like and subscribe and find us on Instagram and Facebook and all that good stuff. So, I guess we'll see you next time. See ya.
Take care.